Hi, and welcome to this episode of John's Model Kit Review. In today's Model Kit Review, we'll be taking a look at Hasegawa's 1/48 scale P-47D-25 Thunderbolt. This is Hasegawa kit number JT40. This particular boxing was released in 1996. Besides being an overall kit review for the Hasegawa P-47, this video will also be the part 1 of the build log for this kit. I recently decided to build 3 P-47s concurrently, so I'm also working on the brand new MiniArt P-47D, as well as the Academy P-47N Thunderbolt. In this video, we'll take a look at what comes in the box. We'll also go through the kit instructions and look at those and talk about any potential problem areas to watch out for. We'll look at the surface detail on the exterior of the kit. We'll also talk about the fit of the major parts. We'll look at the detail on the interior parts, and I'll also talk about any aftermarket additions that I've made to this kit. I'll also show pictures of any potential problem areas, and I'll give my solutions to those. Look at the marking options that are included with the kit. We'll also take a look at the decals and talk about the quality of those. Looking at the instructions, step 1 has you building the interior for the kit. Construction here was very straightforward. The detail here is somewhat simplified, and the seat itself was extremely basic, so I used a True Details resin replacement seat that came with the molded in seat belts, and so I have detail painted that as well. For the control panel, I used the kit supplied instrument decal over the face of the dials, and that settled in pretty well. Although I'm not a huge fan of the way this looks, I've tried to dress it up as much as possible. In step 2, we are closing up the fuselage halves and adding the tailplanes. This part of the build went very quickly for me. The fit of the fuselage halves to one another and the tailplanes was excellent. You can see here, after the rubber bands are removed, there's just a very minor seam that's going to need to be cleaned up on these parts. The underside of the fuselage will also require just a little bit of cleanup, but overall the fit here is great. In step 3, we're building the wing assembly, and I deviated from the instructions here by gluing the upper wings to the fuselage halves first in order to get an excellent wing root fit. Those came out great. In step 4, we're adding the wing assembly to the fuselage. After installing the wheel wells on the lower wing and drilling out all the holes underneath, I installed the lower wing to the underside of the fuselage. This actually went fairly well, but there is a little bit of a seam at the front of the lower wing. I filled this gap with some plastic card. And then at the rear of the lower wing as well, there's just a little bit of a step between the lower wing and the fuselage. You can see that in this picture, and I'll need to clean that up just a bit. The top and bottom halves of the wing fit together nicely. I will need to do a little bit of refining on the seam around here, but I think this should turn out great. In this picture, you can see the airframe at the point in construction where it is now. I haven't cleaned up any seams yet, but the fit on the kit overall has been really good up to this point. Moving on in the instructions, step 5 has you building the landing gear, and step 6 has you building the auxiliary fuel tank and the bombs if you want to add those. I don't anticipate any difficulties with those steps of construction. In step 7, we're adding the landing gear and the fuel tank and the bombs to the underside of the aircraft. In step 8, we're assembling and painting the engine. This looks pretty straightforward as well. I don't anticipate any fit issues here. And in step 9, we're assembling the prop, adding that to the aircraft, and we're also adding the cockpit transparencies. Once again, I think this is going to be a very straightforward step. Both of the marking options included in this kit are for natural metal P-47s. The first one is from the 512th Fighter Squadron, and the second one is from the 513th Fighter Squadron. Looking at the decals themselves, these are typical Hasegawa decals of the mid-90s, and unfortunately the white color on the decals is more of a cream. I'm not sure exactly why Hasegawa did this, but I will probably go with a different marking option and different decals because I don't like the cream color. I know this kit has been superseded first by the Tamiya P-47 kit and now by MiniArt's P-47. And while those kits are a little bit more detailed and probably more accurate in certain areas, this kit is still a very straightforward build. It has a pretty low parts count to it, so it is more appropriate for newer modelers or modelers getting back into the hobby. The surface detail on the exterior parts of the kit is consistent, it's engraved detail, but it's not nearly as comprehensive as on one of the newer MiniArt P-47s. Those kits are much more heavily riveted and engraved. You can check out my inbox review of MiniArt's P-47D-25 by clicking the link above. I'll also be posting a build log for Academy's P-47N in the near future. All right, I'd love to know what you guys think. If any of you out there have built Hasegawa's P-47D Thunderbolt, please feel free to comment in the comment section below. As always, I hope you found this video entertaining and informative, and until next time, model on.